This Nokia 5.3 might have changed my opinion about budget phones. My experience so far with phones under 200 euros has been pretty underwhelming, to say the least, because they're missing features that are pretty important to me, but I could live with this 5.3 on a daily basis as my daily driver. I'm Kevin from Peacock Inside Tech, and this is my Nokia 5.3 review. If you think of a sub 200 euro phone, you automatically think basic design, cheap build quality, but Nokia has done a really good job of proving me wrong with the Nokia 5.3. I mean, it is made of plastic, but it's really well built and it feels good in your hand. Normally, if you grab a phone that's pretty cheap and you squeeze it, it makes this creaking, cracking noise, but with the 5.3, I don't have that at all. I mean, of course, it would be nice to have a glass back like on more premium phones, but hey, plastic is more durable than glass. There is that. It also comes in 3 colors. This charcoal color that I'm reviewing here, a sand color, and a cyan color, which is my favorite. I really like Nokia's design language with its higher end phones, and the 5.3 continues that design language with that really cool notification light within the power button on the right side, along with the volume rocker, and the Google Assistant button on the left side, along with the SIM card tray. On the bottom, there's a USB-C charging port, a speaker, and a microphone, and on the top, you get a headphone jack and a second microphone. On the back, you have the cameras. That's right, I said cameras with an S because there are 4 of them, more on those in a minute, and a fingerprint scanner. The scanner is well placed, but it's pretty slow. I feel like it always takes 1 to 2 seconds to unlock the phone when I place my finger on the sensor. It's not that bad, but on the bigger brother, the Nokia 7.2, I felt like it was a little bit quicker. On the front, you get a pretty big 6.55-inch LCD screen, and normally at this price point, the display is pretty terrible, but this panel is okay. It's not the sharpest with just a 1600 by 720p resolution, but the colors look good, the viewing angles are decent, there is a little blue tint to it, but luckily in the settings you can change the color temperature to your liking. Because of the big size and relatively small bezels, consuming content is a pretty good experience on this phone. The screen is also visible in bright sunlight, even though the phone maxes out at 450 nits of brightness. Another design element of the Nokia 5.3 that lets you know that it's a Nokia phone right away is this circular camera module on the back. The Nokia 5.3 comes with a quad camera setup, although only 3 of those can be actively used. But you get a 13 megapixel primary camera, a 5 megapixel ultra wide camera, a 2 megapixel macro camera, a 2 megapixel camera for measuring depth, and an 8 megapixel selfie camera. The camera is normally another area with budget phones that's pretty bad, but somehow Nokia has gotten it right with the 5.3. I mean, it's not flagship level, but for the price point, the pictures and the quality is actually pretty good. The selfie camera is pretty okay too. It gets the job done, and it's actually pretty good at taking portrait shots. The camera app itself is really simple and easy to use with just 4 modes: portrait, photo, video, and night. The night mode even works with the ultra wide camera on the back, and that's something that the iPhone 11 Pro can't do. I mean, the photos aren't good, at all in low light with the ultra wide camera, but it's still cool to see on a phone at this price point. Night shots with the primary lens are also pretty noisy and muddy looking, but it does work, and once again, cool to see on the phone at this price. In good light, the 13 megapixel camera does work really well and captures a lot of detail. The photos do come out really contrasty with really dark shadows sometimes, but this is a look that I personally like, so I don't mind. Portrait mode works surprisingly well too. The edge detection is not too bad, and the bokeh looks pretty good. Macro mode also works okay too. It only has a 2 megapixel sensor, so don't expect too much. I mean, you can get pretty close to your subject, but since the resolution is so low, you can't really crop in any further. Here are some more sample photos. The Nokia 5.3 can also record 4K videos at 30 frames per second, which is pretty impressive. I mean, it looks pretty good. The video comes out sharp and the colors are pretty decent, but there is no stabilization. So if you do want to record a 4K video, you're gonna have to keep the phone as steady as possible or invest in a gimbal. The Nokia 5.3 comes with a Snapdragon 665 and it's an entry-level processor, but with the low screen resolution and the light Android One software, it performs pretty good. I didn't see any stuttering or freezing. You can get the 5.3 with 3, 4, or 6 gigabytes of RAM. You can only tell that it's an entry-level processor when opening up apps sometimes, because there is a little delay when you try to open up the app, but other than that, I can't complain about anything. Gaming is also possible. I played PUBG on medium graphics and I didn't have any problems, but it's not a dedicated gaming phone, so please don't expect too much. The software experience with the 5.3 has been actually really good too, and that's probably thanks to Nokia using the Android One platform. And like I said in my last video with the Nokia 7.2, I really love the fact that HMD Global committed to the Android One platform. I wish a lot more manufacturers would do that. So that means you get at least 2 years of major software updates and 3 years of monthly security patches from when the phone was released. So by now you're probably waiting for the big catch, like what's wrong? What's the big flaw with the phone? Maybe the battery life? No, the battery life is also really good. The Nokia 5.3 comes with a 4,000 milliamp battery, and I've been getting close to 2 days of battery life with this phone, which is pretty rare because I am a power user. The only other phone that I use to get me through 2 days is my iPhone 11 Pro Max. You don't get super fast charging or a wireless charging, but that's to be expected at this price point. So who is the Nokia 5.3 for? I think it's for people that want most of the features that you get from a more expensive phone but don't want to drop that much cash on a phone. The Nokia 5.3 is like the flagship of the budget phones, if that makes sense to you. Because while I was using it, I didn't feel like I was missing anything. I mean, of course, the features are there. They're not as good as a flagship phone, but at least they are there. And I feel like this is a great phone for a teenager getting their first phone, or maybe even elderly people that want a bigger screen and just want something simple that works and has pretty good battery life. And with that being said, I want to thank Nokia Germany for sending me this review unit, and I want to thank you for watching my video. And if you liked it, please subscribe, and a thumbs up would be great, and I will see you in the next video.